Spajan, a crime scene frozen in time, a silent room where no one is speaking, yet everything is telling a story. The broken glass on the floor, the faint footprint near the window, the bloodstain, barely visible under dim light, and in that silence, physical evidence becomes the most honest witness in forensic science. Because unlike people, evidence does not forget, exaggerate, panic, or lie. And this is why physical evidence is the backbone of forensic investigation. The foundation upon which justice either stands strong or collapses completely. Physical evidence in forensic science refers to any tangible, measurable material found at a crime scene or related location that can establish that a crime has occurred and link a suspect, a victim, and the scene together. And this includes objects such as fingerprints, blood, weapons, fibers, hair, soil, glass, fragments, documents, footprints, tool marks, firearms, and even microscopic traces invisible to the naked eye. And to truly understand its power, we must understand that physical evidence works on the principle of exchange, famously explained by Locard, who stated that every contact leaves a trace, meaning whenever two objects come into contact, there is a transfer of material between them, whether it is a criminal touching a door handle and leaving fingerprints, a shoe stepping into mud and carrying soil into a getaway car, or a struggle that causes fibers from clothing to move from one person to another. And this simple principle transforms ordinary objects into extraordinary sources of truth. For example, consider a burglary where no witnesses saw the suspect, but a partial fingerprint is recovered from a glass window, once analyzed and matched through fingerprint databases. That single physical trace can place a suspect at the scene beyond reasonable doubt, showing how physical evidence can speak louder than any eyewitness testimony, which can be flawed by fear, memory distortion, or bias, while evidence remains consistent over time when properly preserved. Physical evidence is broadly categorized into two types: class evidence and individual evidence, where class evidence can narrow down a group, such as blood type, shoe size, or fiber color, while individual evidence can uniquely identify a single source, such as DNA profiles, fingerprints, or serial numbers on firearms. And both types play crucial roles in investigations, because even class evidence, when combined with other findings, can build a powerful chain of circumstantial proof, like matching paint chips from a hit-and-run vehicle to a specific manufacturer and model year, which may lead investigators directly to the suspect vehicle. DNA evidence, one of the most revolutionary forms of physical evidence, has transformed forensic science by allowing scientists to identify individuals with extraordinary accuracy from tiny biological samples, such as blood, saliva, semen, skin, cells, or hair roots, and countless real cases demonstrate its impact, including wrongful convictions overturned decades later when preserved biological evidence revealed that an innocent person was imprisoned, while the real offender remained free, proving that physical evidence not only convicts the guilty, but also protects the innocent. However, the value of physical evidence depends entirely on how it is collected, preserved, analyzed, and presented, because evidence that is contaminated, improperly packaged, or poorly documented can lose its credibility, which is why crime scene management is critical, beginning with securing the scene, preventing unauthorized access, photographing and documenting every detail, and carefully collecting each item using proper tools and techniques, such as wearing gloves to avoid contamination, using separate packaging to prevent cross-transfer, and labeling evidence with precise chain of custody records that document every person who handled it, every location it traveled to, and every analysis performed, ensuring that in court, the evidence can withstand legal scrutiny. Consider bloodstain pattern analysis, where the size, shape, and distribution of blood droplets can reveal how a violent act occurred, whether the victim was standing or lying down, whether a weapon was swung or fired, and even the direction and force of impact, turning what looks like random splashes into a reconstruction of events. While trace evidence such as fibers and hair, though often overlooked, can silently connect suspects to victims, as seen in cases where unique carpet fibers found on a suspect's clothing matched the victim's home, placing them at the scene despite the suspect's denial. Weapons themselves are critical physical evidence, whether it is a knife bearing microscopic striations or a firearm leaving unique markings on bullets and cartridge cases. Because forensic ballistics allows examiners to match these marks to a specific weapon, much like a fingerprint. And when combined with gunshot residue analysis, investigators can determine whether a suspect recently fired a weapon, strengthening the evidentiary link. Documents and questioned writings also fall under physical evidence, where handwriting analysis, ink composition, paper type, and printing techniques can reveal forgery, fraud, or authorship, showing that even words on paper carry physical characteristics that science can examine. Yet, despite its power, physical evidence is not infallible, and forensic science must be applied ethically and scientifically, because misinterpretation, confirmation bias, or over-reliance on flawed techniques can lead to injustice, which is why modern forensic practice emphasizes validation, peer review, standardized methods, and transparency, ensuring that conclusions are based on data, not assumptions. In the courtroom, physical evidence becomes a silent witness, presented through expert testimony, where forensic scientists must explain complex scientific findings in simple, unbiased language, helping judges and juries understand not what they believe, but what the evidence demonstrates. And the most compelling cases are those where multiple independent pieces of physical evidence converge, forming a consistent narrative that leaves little room for doubt. Ultimately, physical evidence is not just about science, laboratories, or technology. It is about truth, accountability, and justice, because every fiber, fingerprint, and fragment carries the potential to answer the most critical questions. What happened? How it happened? And who was responsible? And in a world where stories can be manipulated and memories can fade, physical evidence stands as the quiet guardian of facts, reminding us that even the smallest trace can change lives, free the innocent, expose the guilty, and ensure that justice is not based on speculation, but on proof. And that is why physical evidence in forensic science is not merely a tool of investigation, but the very language through which science speaks for the truth when no one else can.